Ready? प्रेम से बोले श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जय. Children of God, Sitaram to one and all, and welcome to this evening's satsang as we dedicate this satsang to Bhagwan Krishna as we celebrate his birthday on Sunday evening. Let us all pray. Om Hari Om Gajananam Bhutaganaadisevitam Kapita Jambho Palisari Bhakshanam Umasutam Shoka Vinashikarkam Namami Veganeshwari Parapankajam Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Saraswati Rupena Sanskritam Namastasye 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 Namo Namaham Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaram Gurur Sakshat Parang Brahma Tasmai Sri Gurve Namaha Nagindraharam Trilochanayam Vashmangragaya Maheshwarayam Nityaya Shudaya Digambaraya Tasmai Nakaraya Namaha Shivaya Om Anjani Garbhasan Mukhum Vayu Putro Mahabam Kumaro Brahmachari Cham Hanumana Me Prasidha Ming Om Bhurbhuvasvam Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasyam Dhimahi Dhiyo yo na prachodayan Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunektu Sahavidyam Karvabhem Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishabhem Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. प्रेम से बोले श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जय. करो हरि ने बिन कौन बचावन हारा, या जग पारावान। तुम बिन कौन बचावन हारा, या परम परवान। पाप प्रलोभन इन जिन भगवान, पाप प्रलोभन इन जिन भगवान। इन छिकराम जितार करो हरे, नेय मेरी पार करो हरे, नेय मेरी पार करो हरि, नेय मेरी पार करो हरि, नेय मेरी पार। मन की वत माया के मध में, हीर पाँच माखा। मन की वत माया के मध में, हीर पाँच माखा। दिली पारी सूरत की डोरी, दिली पारे सूरत की डोरी। स्वामी तुम्हें भी सार करो हरे, नेय मेरी पार करो हरे, नेय मेरी पार करो हरि, नेय मेरी पार करो हरि, नेय मेरी पार। बार बार करत दूसर ढुक में, टूट गया पतवान। बार बार करत दूसर ढुक में, टूट गया पतवान। नाव पुरानी जन जरी हो गई, नाव पुरानी जन जरी हो गए। ईश में धुभान हार करो हरे, नेय मेरी पार करो हरि, करुणा करो बाली हाथ गहो करुणा करो पार करो करतार करो हरे नैया मेरी पार 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 करो हरि नैया मेरी पार. Dear Lord, take my boat across to the other side of the river. Children of God, this is a call always been called to Bhagwan Krishna. Oh Bhagwan Krishna, please take my boat to the other side, meaning please take it to the heavenly realm. Take it across this ocean. Tum kaun bina bachavan, har ya jagaparavar. O Lord, without you, who can save my boat from these turbulent waters of this rough sea of life? Dear Lord, please help me. Please help me, dear Lord. As we about to cross this ocean, Papa Perloban in Jin Bhagava, Kinichi Karim Jidhar, that it tells to us here that the engine of the boat is caught up in the entangling weeds of sin and temptation. And the undercurrent of the sea are causing my boat only to revolve endlessly instead of progressing forward. My dear friends, the engine is caught up in the entangling weeds of sin and temptation. So devotees and friends, Ramcharitamanas tells to us, very early Balkan Tulsidasji tells to us, he says that the good and the bad, the negative and the positive were all created by God. But my dear friends, we are given the power of choice. We have been given the power of choice, and we need to choose. The temptations are there. The temptations are there, my dear friends, to do the wrong thing. But similarly, the temptation to do the correct thing is also there. But which one you take? The technical operator, the producer of Dharam Ki Awaaj and everything else, Mr. Nikhil will tell you that the temptation is on both sides. The temptation is on both sides. You can't see him, but he's in the background. He's bringing it through dharamkiawaj.com and on Facebook. And then we are on Pandit Vishnu Live. On YouTube, sorry. So my dear friends, the temptations are there for you to do the good thing and also to do the bad thing. What will you choose to do? Some of us choose to do the wrong things sometimes. So it says again, Man ke vatamaya me madh me ghira panch makar. That the mind that rows my boat is in itself in the pleasures of the world. How many of us, my dear friends, give up God for the pleasure of the world? How many of us give up God for the pleasure of the world? Unmindfully of the urgency of rowing with speed. So children of God, as we prepare ourselves to celebrate the birthday of Bhagwan Krishna, let us understand that he has given to us a direction to row this boat to the other side. Bhar Bharat Takrat Dusar Dukami Tutagaya Patawar. It says, Lord, in forgetting you, we let go of the consciousness of our mission. Children of God, I want to find out from you this evening, how many of you have lost your mission? How many of you are conscious of your mission? What is your mission? Bare bhag manushta nupava. That it is by good fortune that you get this human body for 3 reasons. Sadhana, dhamma, and moksha. To perform good and divine actions, loving actions, selfless actions. To have control of what you do. How many of us, my dear friends, and the final goal is that which is known as moksha. How many of us, my dear friends, are conscious of these objectives that we have to meet? It says, several times has my boat collided with the rock of the sea, the rocks of vices, and I have had the experience of unbearable pain. The worst being that the rudder of my boat is now broken, and any time now the boat may sink. My dear friends, how and when the rudder would break, age does not tell that now. We see so many young people dying with the COVID and everything else. So my dear friends, you have to be aware of your mission, and your mission is to lift yourself and transform your life. In these circumstances, dear Lord, I have lost myself. I pray, extend your strong arms of mercy and help me to cross the rough sea of life. For to cross, I must cross. Prem se bole Shri Ram Chandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Kandheya, Kandheya, Kandheya tujhe aana parega, bachan ki tawala, aana parega, bachan ki tawala, aana parega. Kandheya, Kandheya tujhe aana parega, bachan ki tawala, aana parega, bachan. Gokul mein aaya, Mathura mein aaya. Krishna, you will have to come back again. Kandhaya, Kandhaya tujhe aana parega. You will have to come back again. So devotees and friends, the Lord is being told here in this bhajan, you will have to break the period of your mukti, your liberation, to come back again to give new life to dharma. Dear Lord, which is now faint amongst us mortal. This was the promise you gave to us in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Unrighteousness is now on the ascent, dear Lord, and good people suffer tremendously. Humiliation at the hands of the wicked and the merciless people. So, dear Lord, you have to come. You have to come. You came to help the innocent people of Gokul and Mathura. Show us your face once more. Come and see what has happened into your Dwarika, into this world that we live, my dear friends. The Jamuna water is not the same as you had left it. Madhubhan, once known for its sweet water and fruits, is not the same. The streets and those living there have all changed. Kandhaya, Kandhaya. Ana Parega. You have to come again. You have to come again, dear Lord. There has remained no one capable to protect your cows. Those cows that you had cherished so much and which had come to be closely associated with your name and personality. Bhagwan, there is no one you have to come to save them also. Your devotees consume the flesh of your motherly cows more than any other people, and they still swear by your name. Many Kans like person have been born in this world, and they do exactly what Kans did in your time. Hardly any home is free from hypocrisy and fraud. Come back, O Kandhaya, O Krishna. Break the period of your mukti as you did in the time of Vasudeva and Devaki, of Nanda and Yashoda, of Balram and Radha, and come to liberate us. Fulfill your promise, dear Lord. So, devotees and friends, this is the promise of Bhagavan Krishna. To come back here, let us look at the world. Let us look at the world and see what it has come to. Righteousness, my dear friends, everything in this world is now really, in a state of degradation. And it's only so when we pray on Sunday and we say, Lord, please come, please be born to me. Yes, many, many years ago, Bhagavan Krishna was born into Mathura. And we will hear of that katha on Sunday. But my dear friends, we are celebrating his birth date, and we are reenacting his birth. For what reason? Each year we do reenact his birth. We reenact his birth, my dear friends, so that we can save ourselves. Ana Pareka, please come into my life, dear Lord. Play the basuri into my life. Let the sweet sound, let the unity happens within me, and let the love flow. For this world have lost love, my dear friends. Dear Lord, this world have lost love, and you have to come back to establish that love. So accept this song, my dear Lord, as a song and an offering of love. करके स्वीकार प्रभु मेरा गीत अमर कर दो बन जाओ मीत मेरे ये प्रीत मर कर दो करके स्वीकार प्रभु मेरा गीत अमर कर दो Seems to be gone, when everything seems to be snatched away from us, we know that you are there for us. Prem se bole Shri Krishen Bhagwan ki jai. So my dear friends, Sri Sudji, ask of the king, and he says, "O king, there was a mountain well known as Trikut. And that beautiful mountain was 10,000 yojans in height and was surrounded by the milky ocean. It was wide on all sides to the same extent as its height. However, it had 3 peaks. And this is the most important thing of it, my dear friends. This mountain was surrounded by the Milky Ocean. And the Milky Ocean is Bhagwan Vishnu and Lakshmi Mata. But my dear friends, the significant thing of this mountain is that it carried 3 peaks. That is why it is known as Trikuta. Trikuta. One of the peak was golden in color, the other was silver, and the other peak is iron. So, my dear friends, wherewith is illustrated the Milky Ocean, the cardinal points, and the sky. Devotees and friends, these 3 gunas, these three mountain peaks, the gold, the silver, and the iron, represents the 3 gunas of our life. Those are the 3 peaks in our life: the goodness, the passion, and the ignorance. And these 3, my dear friends, keep fighting for supremacy within us. As man, we continue to do some of the good things, some of the things which are aligned to the Satogun. So it tells to us, my dear friends, that the fate of each in accordance with the nature O Bharat may consist of his fate as a man fate, so he is. So it's telling to us, just as a man fate is, so too will be the man. According to one's own nature, the type of fate that feeds and nourishes each bosom, we notice vastly differently from that of another. So each person has a different mode, my dear friends. So he says, some will have the mode, the sattvic or pure men worship the god and the devas. The rajasic or the passionate worship the yakshas. And the rakshasas, the others, the tamasic people, or the dark or the dull folks, worship the ghost, the pret, and the host of bhutas, or the nature of spirit. Every man in life, my dear friends, bring his entire devotion. These are those who lives in the golden peak of that mountain Srikut. Every man in life brings his entire devotion and offer it at one's altar or another, and seek fulfillment from the benefits that will that will come out from the invocations. In scriptural language, what are we saying? This is called worship. The sattvic man, the man who lives, my dear friends, on the golden top, have worship to God. Ritualistic worship of God, also of some deity. The term worship here embraced a wide implication. Every one of us is a worshipper at some altar chosen by ourselves. So we either worship God or we worship the world, one out of the two. So devotees and friends, we either at the altar looking for wealth, looking for power, We are the altar, my dear friends, looking for everything else. But it says men of the sattvic temperament, because of their serene composure and tranquil disposition, seek their fulfillment at the altar of divinity, indicating the higher impulses and noble qualities of their being. Naturally, they seek and come to adore such a divine godly altar. Children of God, when we go to the altar of God, what do you pray for? Some who are young and yet still to get married, they pray to get a good wife, get a good job, get a good education. Those who are older now and have children, when they go to the altar of divinity, they pray for the success of their children. They pray to be highlighted into the community. And they pray for acquisitions so I could leave for my children. So children of God, and when you get into old age now, and the hair start getting gray and so on, you start to pray and ask of the Lord, if you give me back this life, Lord, I will live it differently. Because now you start to reach the moment of regrets. You start to understand how you have wasted your life. But even at this age, sometimes, my dear friends, we do not come to terms with God. And because of our acquisition, we start looking among our children and we start putting criteria, who going to get my acquisition? Who has the best quality of taking care of me? So you're looking now for someone to take care of you at this age instead of you throw your life at the feet of the Lord. Those who are into the mounting, my dear friends, of silver, yakshas and rakshasas by the rajasic mood, men of passionate nature, rajas, are those who have extreme ambition and are constantly restless in their self-chosen field of activities. They are said to be worshipping and, appropriating the demigods, the yakshas and the rakshas, to get what they want. The idea here is that the choice of the altar will depend upon the silent demand of the heart of the devotee. So what is on the heart of the devotee, that is the altar they would go to. That is the prayer that they would look for. One will never go to a bookstore to purchase some dress. Anybody will go to a bookstore to buy clothes? No. So my dear friends, so too, the active and the passionate type of men can feel an admiration for and can appreciate only an equally active and passionate rajasic demigod or deity. So here, my dear friends, the mind, where the silent heart has so much to want and to achieve, they would look for the aspect of God, the deity, which will give them that. So when they pray and they get that, my dear friends, that's the end of their prayer. So all they will have is material happiness. It tells to us the Tamasic man, the man who lives in the iron tip mountain, they worship the priests and the Buddhas. They worship the dead spirit and such other low vicious powers are invoked by the men of inactivity for the satisfaction of some of their low urges for vicious sense gratification. Men of low moral caliber and false education generally will try to fulfill their perennious ambition with the help of the wretched, vengeful scum of society, the priests and the booths, who through physically alive are dead to all sweetness and goodness in life. When a person lives in the Tamogun, my dear friends, they really do not have the sweetness of life in them. When they achieve, my dear friends, they don't care who they hurt. If you have the sweetness of life, you will not hurt anyone to gain what you want. You will not hurt anyone for you to achieve your power. But you would achieve your power in fairness and with love, with the sweetness of life, if you live on the golden mountain. But it says the man with the tamogun does not care, They hire the thugs, generally chosen from professional jailbirds, are the fit powers to be invoked in order to that low and criminal ambition of the Tamasic can be fulfilled. Prem se Bole Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan ki. So my dear friends, I try a little bit here to tell to you about that tree mountain. That tree mountain that stands there, that we are talking about which is known as the Trikut mountain, So devotees and friends, that is the mountain that stands there, and the Milky Ocean hits at the base of it, meaning our life. Our life, my dear friends, each and every one of us has Bhagwan Vishnu and Lakshmi Mata at our feet. But we are at the tip of the mountain, and my dear friends, these three mountain peaks, this is what take control of us at times. But the bhajan tells to us, दूसरों का दुखरा दूर करने वाले तेरे दुख दूर करेंगे। दूसरों का दुखरा दूर करने वाले तेरे दुख दूर करेंगे। ये जग में भलाई का काम तेरे दुख दूर दूसरों का दुखरा दूर करने वाले तेरे दुख दूर करेंगे। सच के पत ये धर्म का मार्ग शबल शबल चैन प्राणी पग पग पर है यह रिक स्तुति कर्म कर्म पर कुर्बानी मगर तू द्वार हो न होना तेरे सब पीहर तेरे दुख दूर करेंगे राम। ये जग में लायक काम, तेरे दुख दूर करेंगे राम। दूसरों का दुख दूर करने वाले, तेरे दुख दूर करेंगे। क्या तूने पाया, क्या तूने खोया, क्या तेरा लाभ है, क्या हानि, इसका ही सब करेगा वो ईश्वर, तू क्यों फिर कर हे प्राणी। तू बस अपना काम किए चल, तेरे भंडर भरेंगे राम। दूसरों का दुख दूर करने वाले, तेरे दुख दूर करेंगे राम। चले तू अपने असूए तमान, तेरे दुख दूर करेंगे राम। दूसरों का दुख दूर करने वाले, तेरे दुख दूर करेंगे राम। प्रेम से बोले श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की। So around this mountain, my dear friends, there was also a lake, a wonderful lake. And this is the lake of life, filled with golden lotus and all sort of things. It was very beautiful. But it tells to us that once there came into that garden the leader of a herd of elephants dwelling in the forest over the mountains. It was ranging about in the company, it was moving around, my dear friends, in the company of the female elephant, breaking and treading down thorny shrubs and clusters of various types of bamboos and canes on their way. It says, even at the scent of the king of elephant lions, big elephants, carnivorous animals like tigers, huge serpents, all these, my dear friends, took to flight through sheer terror. This king of the elephant was so powerful that everyone moved, my dear friends. And in today's world, there is people like that. Not people, but few, one, two. When they come, my dear friends, all who feel they bad and everything else move aside. Because the real bad one now come. So the best out of the bad has arrived. So my dear friends, what happened? It says here, the elephant, which was, claimed to be the best of the lot, became thirsty. And so he entered into the lake in the gardens to drink water. But my dear friends, when the bad, or when the king is in his turf, he is very strong, he is very powerful. That's the reason why the Katha says all the, the very vicious animal, the carnivorous animals like the rhino, what do you call them? Rhinoceros. That word so long and hard. I would just say rhino. You all know what I'm talking about. The rhinoceros. My dear friends, all of them run aside. But this elephant entered into the lake now, my dear friends, and an alligator scrambled one of the foot. And all that he tried to get away there, my dear friends, he could not get away. So my dear friends, it says that you bar on your bowl and you're moving everyone aside. But one day, Massa, they go reach. So the elephant, everybody afraid him. And he reached now into the lake, and the alligator scrambled his foot. And all that he tried, my dear friends, to get away, he could not get away. All the other elephants and everybody who came, there's the partners and them now, none of them could not help him. So my dear friends, when we are king, yet still we must be humble. We must be in that mode of this Satogun. So it says what happened here. It says, when that mighty elephant depend on his physical strength only, thus found himself in the peril of life and absolutely helpless and incapable of rescuing himself, he pondered over for a long time and thought, he will of the Lord arrive to the following conclusions. So my dear friends, he believed now that, hey, time is getting close. The elephant, my dear friends, who is all around him, they tried to lift him. What to speak of these poor she-elephants, because he was only among the female elephants, like all these Massa and them. They like to have all the ladies around them. None of them could help him at that point. What to speak of these poor elephants caught up and bound down as I am in the snare of the providence in the form of this alligator. I shall now approach the Supreme Lord, who is the last resort of all. So you see, the elephant now, my dear friends, when everyone failed him, who was his last resort? God. So too, my dear friends, all of us, when we are, when our pockets are filled and we believe that we have everything. But my dear friends, when we get caught by the alligator of disease, pains, and distress, and all that we have in this world fail us, because sometimes, my dear friends, when the disease comes, all that you have fail you, then your only resort then is God. Then you humble yourself and you go to God. So the elephant started to pray, my dear friends, and he concentrated on the syllable Om. He went to that absolute Lord, my dear friends. And then, my dear friends, he gave us great description of the Lord and that omnipresent Lord. He remembered God into every form while he was there. And you would say, how can an elephant now think about God? So the lesson is for you and I, my dear friends. We all feel that we're big, we're bold, we have money, we have everything, we are rich, we are strong, and I don't need God. How much people you hear say, I don't need God? Yeah, you hear somebody the other day. I stopped praying to God. Principle Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan Ki Jai. But when the alligator hold your foot, my dear friends, then you remember God. Then you remember God, my dear friends, and you will have to remember God. And remember how it is now that the elephant remember God. I'll tell to you. This elephant, my dear friends, was a great saint in his last life. He was a great sage in his last life. And one day, my dear friends, he was there doing his vrat and so on. And what happened? It says that It was time for him to break his. Oh, no. He took a vrat of silence. Yes, he took that vrat of silence. And my dear friends, he was maintaining that vrat of silence for a period of time. And there visiting him one day was a great sage. And when that great sage came, my dear friends, this devotee here praying, this saint praying, did not break his vow. So he come like he did not talk to the great sage that come. And that sage, became angry. When he became angry, he got the curse, my dear friends. And that is how he came to become the elephant. You know, that is how he became the elephant. And so, children of God, by the elephant praying, the Almighty Lord came back to him, touched him, and so he was lifted back again to the region of the Gandharvas. He was in that state of the Gandharvas before. So devotees and friends, but remember he fell. He fell from that state because he failed to recognize the saints as they passed, and he kept the vow of that Mauna. Prem se bole Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan ki. So he had known before in his last birth, my dear friends, that prayer, he had known the Lord. And so that is what brought back to him. So my dear friends, we all do have the Lord within us. Please allow ourselves the privilege to lift ourselves and go back to the feet of the Lord. Prem se bole Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. Om Sri Krishen Bhagavan ki jai. Vishnu Bhagavan ki jai. So this brings me to the end of this katha this evening. चोर जमीला छूते जगे काम कह गई दास कबीर पार लगाएंगे एक पल में तुलसी के रघुबीर चोर जमीला छूते जग काम कह गए दास कबीर पार लगाएंगे एक पल में तुलसी के रघुबीर चोर तेरा सा रमाती माए। मीरा जी के गीत बुलावे, मीरा जी के गीत बुलावे, सबको जमुना के प्रेम से बोले कृष्ण भगवान की जय. Let us all put the hands together, close the physical eyes as we conclude for this evening. Om Asato ma satgamayam Tamaso ma jyotirgamayam Mrityoramam Amritam Gamayam. Om Tvameva Matam Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhum Cha Sika Tvameva Tvameva Vidyam Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Devam. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. प्रेम से बोले कृष्ण भगवान की, सनातन धर्म की, Om Sri Gurudevata ki. So join us tomorrow evening at 6, my dear friends, as we continue (6:30). Join us tomorrow evening at 6:30 when we will continue again with our Krishna devotion. Sitaram. And until tomorrow evening, join us either on Pandit Vishnu Live, on Dharam Ki Awaaj, on YouTube, and also www.dharamkiawaj on the Google. Prem se bol Shri Ram Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. Sitaram to all. Have a blessed